This Hangout on Air is live, it says. What's up, everybody? Let's see. I'm pulling this up right now. All right. Here we go. 12:33. What's the date today? November 22nd, 12:33. What's up, guys? All right. Let's see. Is this working? Okay. Comment, make sure, let me know if my video and my audio are working okay. But I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. The viewers are popping in. What's up, everybody? Every time I look, there's more and more people. Hello. Dio Neoden, a regular. What's up? What's happening, guys? Doobie Brown says I'm late for a very important date. Little Lewis Carroll reference there. All right, let's wait for more viewers to come in. Charles and Grego, what's up, my man? How's it going? Mark Alvarez from Texas. What's up, Mark? All right, so it's 12:30 here. Good morning from California, says Trisha Lopez. What's up, Trisha? How's it going? All right. Jordan Verk, how's it going, man? He says, all right, Jordan Verk, what you saying, man? How to help me on my placebo. What does this mean? How to help me on my placebo and my weight loss during the Dukan diet. It's worked great for me because I've lost 3 stone in 3 months. Jordan, sounds like English is a second language, or you're trying to spam. I don't know how to read that, man. That's not really a question that makes sense to me. Richard Seekins. Hey, dude. What's up, man? Maria Hemsworth from the UK. Hello, Maria Hemsworth. How's everybody today? You guys coming up on Thanksgiving there in the United States of America. You guys go see your families and whatnot. Maria Hemsworth here in the UK, so you're not going to be celebrating Thanksgiving. Jaden Granada's got a statement, says, you're a living example of how we should all strive to live, and we all salute you. I'm not a living example of how we should all strive to live, Jaden. Look, I'm just a man. I'm not perfect at all. I think we should all strive to be better. We should all strive to leave behind our old dogma. We should all strive to drop our the programs that hold us back from actually experiencing life, from actually being ourselves. And that's what I'm trying to do, just like my amazing viewers are doing the same. So though I do try to set a good example, I do not consider myself the greatest example of just about anything. I'm just as flawed as anybody. But that doesn't mean, just because we're human, just because we will never reach perfection, doesn't mean we shouldn't strive to be what we see as the image of perfection, the embodiment of perfection. When you say image, people think physical, right? Image is a huge issue now. The whole fitness industry, the whole health and fitness industry has really gone towards this image-based program. And I find it to be very detrimental to health. Especially the way people are training their bodies nowadays. People who are mostly sedentary, we're getting lots of questions now. People who are mostly sedentary, doing heavy resistance training, then going back to their sedentary lifestyle with the same faulty movement patterns, with the same kyphosis, the hyperlordosis, muscle imbalances. And then they're trying to aesthetically puff up the muscle bellies when you've got a crooked frame. So if you've got a crooked frame, your skeletal muscle is not lined up. Your fascia system is full of dense nodes where tension and electricity and magnetism can't pass through very well. And you're building this structure of large bloated muscle tissue over that just to reach this certain body image, it could be this can be really detrimental to health and detrimental to how you actually feel and how you perform. So, yeah, image is an interesting thing. So now I know that, on my channel, obviously I'm walking around shirtless most of the time. I actually put a shirt on just for these hangouts. One of the few times that I wear a shirt. And the reason I'm not wearing a shirt all the time is because where I live here in the Andes of Ecuador, we get ample sunlight year round. And being a human being, I quite enjoy getting that sunlight all over my skin as often as possible. It feels incredible. There's so many benefits to it. So, yeah. And of course, to get viewers, sometimes image is necessary. So, you got to play the game. But it is unfortunate that so many people are so focused on body image, on only how the body looks, rather than how it performs, how it feels, how it allows you to navigate through the mysteries of this life. That's what's really important, right? Navigating the spectrum of experience, navigating this beautiful mystery that we all inhabit. That's what's up. Erdem Dillman says, how do you get rid of nasal polyps? Erdem Dillman, how do you get nasal polyps? Something's going on with the environment there. Something's going on with that body. There's some sort of an imbalance. I don't know. Not an expert on nasal polyps, fortunately for me. Unfortunately for those with nasal polyps, sorry, I can't give you any advice on that one, my friend. Also, I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to diagnose, treat, or blah, 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 any disease or illness. If you want an official sanctioned professional to diagnose and treat you should go to somebody in a doctor's office who will spend 15 minutes, whack your knee, see if you got a reflex, take your heart rate, and give you prescription pills. Only FDA and USDA approved, government approved officials should be giving any advice, so don't listen to anything I say. All right, now that we've done that disclaimer, can move forward. Hey, Omar says, is it possible to gain lean muscle and lose fat at the same time while we are on a keto diet? Good question, Amar. Of course it's possible, man. It's called body recomposition. It is absolutely possible to lose body fat and gain muscle simultaneously. Now, if you want to get into the nitty-gritty technicalities of it, in one given moment, you might not be able to lose fat and gain muscle. But over a period of time, assuming you're getting sufficient protein, assuming you're getting sufficient calories to fuel muscle protein synthesis, and to allow your body that comfort of knowing, okay, I can put on extra muscle, I'm not starving. You've got to kind of ride that line. Now, it is a little bit more of an advanced technique to be able to add muscle and lose fat at the same time, but with a well-formulated ketogenic diet based on nutrient-dense whole foods, you can absolutely do it. You need to resistance train. You need to train the muscles that you want to grow, and that's a whole nother subject in itself, but you need to train sufficiently to induce the hypertrophy response to grow muscle, and you need to create that slight deficit or eat at about maintenance so that you can burn fat and recomposition the body, meaning improve the body composition by improving the amount of lean muscle mass and decreasing the amount of body fat. So yeah, man, make sure you're getting enough protein. Make sure you're getting sufficient fat, but not far too much fat. And it might take some tweaking. It might take some trial and error. It might take working with a coach who knows how to do it, who can help you out. But it's absolutely possible. We do it with clients all the time. It's not that difficult. It's not this esoteric thing. It just comes down to dialing in the diet, lifestyle, nutrition to get those results. So good luck, Amar. Thanks for joining us, man. Trisha says, I'm gardening right now, planting snow peas and spinach. Nice. Trisha, I like spinach. Spinach is one of my favorite greens. Good luck. I hope your garden grows abundantly. Dave Carrier says that room looks amazing. Whoa. It's amazing. Thank you, Dave. This is our humble little living room. It almost looks like a bedroom because there's a bed behind me. We might replace that with a couch, but we kind of like that bed. It's nice. Patrick Ryan says, at night I wake up every 3 hours. How do I fix? Please help. All right, sleep issues. First of all, ketogenic diet is not causing your sleep issues. Your sleep issues are likely being caused by a disturbance in your electrolyte balance, or a disturbance in your circadian rhythm and your exposure to light. So, first of all, make sure you're getting sufficient magnesium, sodium, and potassium. That's the first thing. You might want to supplement with magnesium and increase the dosage of that magnesium if you're already supplementing with it. Magnesium, very, very helpful for sleep. Second of all, you got to look at your lifestyle, man. What time are you waking up? What time are you being exposed to light in the morning? If you wake up in the morning, expose yourself to the bright, full spectrum sunlight, get out in the sun, move around, get a nice big breakfast in. Then, when nighttime falls, if you can do your best to avoid artificial light, maybe have a fire, maybe use like a Himalayan salt lamp. We like to use those for reading. Those are very nice. Gives a nice amber tone. Takes away a lot of that blue that's emitted from the standard light bulbs. But you want to minimize your light exposure at night. Make it a rule. Turn off your cell phone. Stop looking at your email when the sun goes down. I mean, that's a really simple rule right there. That's something that we implement with a lot of clients. A lot of times when I'm working with clients, sleep is an issue. Stress levels are an issue. Sometimes people come trying to dial in their diet and lose body fat. They don't even realize that the diet might be the least important part of what they're going to work on. You got to learn to balance that stress response. So at nighttime, that little device, this little black steam here into all day that many times we allow to dictate our mood, to give us that fight or flight response anytime your phone rings or buzzes. Bzz, bzz, email, work, emergency. Oh no. So turn off the devices at night. Not only is looking at that artificial light stopping the production of melatonin when it hits your eye, and your suprachiasmatic nucleus in your brain is stimulated by that light, you're not going to produce melatonin, but also you're going to be producing cortisol and getting that stress response when you hear the thing buzzing all the time. So turn off the devices, relax, spend time with loved ones, go out, and maybe look at the stars. Remember those things you used to look at when you were a kid up in the sky? They'll give you that sense of wonder and expansive awareness of the majesty that is all this creation. Go out there, gaze at the stars. Watch the satellites streak by. Look out for meteorites. All right. So yeah, there's some information on how to try and affect your sleep cycle. Hope those things help out, man. Let's see. Mark Alvarez says, when are you going to do a meetup? Dude, we live in Ecuador. A meetup. When are we going to do a meetup? I don't know, man. Maybe if we fly to the States in the next year or so. We were going to go to the U.S. earlier this year. It didn't end up working out just because of life. That's how it goes. So we haven't actually been in the U.S. since 2011. That was the last time we were there. 2011. So, yeah, we live here in Vilcabamba, high in the Andes of Ecuador. A tiny little town. If you looked on a map, it'd be like in the middle of nowhere. And we like it. You know what it sounds like at night here? Nothing. You know what it sounds like when you wake up in the morning? Birds and maybe a breeze. It's amazing. We love it. It's not for everybody. But yeah, when are we going to do a meetup? I don't know, man. Next time we go to the U.S., we will. My folks right now live in Miami. My brother and sister are there right now visiting them for Thanksgiving. We got a family of 4 now, and to mobilize all these troops can be quite the mission and pretty expensive as well. So, yeah, perhaps early next year. But you never know, man. You never know when duty calls. But yeah, I would love to meet up with our subscribers and members of this community. And, it's always fun meeting with people via Skype, talking with clients from all over the world, interviewing interesting people, which it's very hard to find in this niche. Very hard to find real, genuine, interesting people to talk to in these podcasts. So bear with me. I am working on getting some very awesome guests in. Actually, the next guest that I've got confirmed is Chris Bell. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the film Bigger, Stronger, Faster. He made this film about steroid use in athletes several years ago. Amazing film, available on Netflix. Check out the documentary Bigger, Stronger, Faster if you want to actually get an honest look into the world of performance enhancement. And it will open your eyes to a lot of the stuff that's been going on lately in the world of professional sports. But he also made a documentary, even more important than that, called Prescription Thugs. Now, Prescription Thugs is available on Netflix as well. It is from the viewpoint of Chris Bell, this documentary filmmaker, very talented documentarian, puts it all out on the line. It's a highly emotional documentary. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It is all about the pharmaceutical drug industry, and the straight up scumbaggery, the haberdashery and ridiculousness that goes on in the pharmaceutical industry. And I'm going to talk to him soon. He's actually making a new documentary about something that's very important, and that's prohibition. And this is a new type of prohibition. It's actually an old type of prohibition. It's just one of the many heads of this hydra popping up again. And the newest compound that's under the radar of the FDA, USDA, is something called Kratom. It is actually being successfully used to get people off of opiates. It's a very, very powerful therapeutic natural plant native to Indonesia, Thailand. And recently, in kind of a witch hunt, political maneuvering / corporate thuggery, I don't know, antic, whatever you want to call it, the federal government in the United States of America has decided that they want to ban this and put it on Schedule 1, which will classify it as actually worse than methamphetamine. So we're going to talk about prohibition, and that's the next guest I'm going to have on. That might be Sunday, might be Monday, it might be later. Chris is a busy guy. I appreciate him coming on, but I do want to spread the awareness on the project that he's working on. So, yeah, that's one of my next guests that's going to be coming up. All right, we got way more people jumping in, 30 people. All right. Stephanie says, I appreciate your videos. They help me to change my health and my life. Can't thank you enough. Wow, Stephanie, thank you. I really appreciate that. Look, I'm just a dude. I'm just a goofy guy prancing around shirtless on YouTube. I'm glad that it's inspired you. I'm glad I'm not trying to beat myself up here. Look, I appreciate you saying that, Stephanie. And that, I mean, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I'm just really glad that, this work can affect some people positively, because that's the intent. So don't thank me. I'm not the one to be thanked. You just enjoy your life and live it to the fullest. And give back. That's what we got to do, right? We spread it, and we live it. Chelsea says, can you suggest any app that I can identify how much I'm consuming? Carbs, fat, protein, please. Good question, Chelsea. Most people use MyFitnessPal. I'm not a big fan of it. Actually, if you really want to understand nutrition and your diet and your habits, my best advice for you, Chelsea, is to actually physically write down and calculate your macros by hand. Weigh and measure the food you've been eating and write it down. Look it up, cross-reference, because there will be different values for the same food in different databases. So like my calorieking.com might have different values for salmon, for instance, than I don't know, one of these other one, MyFitnessPal or something like that. So you can cross-reference things, find an average, and just do your best. But writing it down will actually help you commit it to memory, and it'll feel much more real. Rather than just plugging it into your app all the time, rather than staring at the dang phone all the time, radiating your face and your hand with that phone, let's stay off the phone when we can. Let's enjoy our surroundings a little bit more. Spend less time gazing in the little black sea or stone and more time engaging with our environment. So I would suggest write it down or use MyFitnessPal because a lot of people use that. A lot of people like it. I just don't like it that much and I don't use it. All right. Dio Neoden said he typed a big question. He doesn't see it anymore. I don't see it, Dio. Maybe type it again. All right. So many people. Patrick Ryan says you are right to live in Ecuador. Patrick, it's your right to live wherever you choose to live. It's your right to live in your body, to be in your body, to think whatever you want to think, to feel what you want to feel, to have the opinions you want to have. Like Cleet Roberts says, Kratom is seriously bad, highly physically addictive, and very hard to kick. Now, that is not true, Cleet Roberts. Now, you may have read that about cannabis as well. These things are not seriously bad. Everything's about context. You know what's seriously bad? Giving children Oxycontin. You know what's seriously bad? Giving children opioids that are mixed, opiates, that are actually modified and mixed with, what is it? It was an SSRI drug? No, it was an antipsychotic, like tramadol. That's dangerous. Anybody can walk into a pharmacy here in Ecuador and buy tramadol. Go look at the side effects of tramadol. Now go look at the side effects of kratom, which is non-toxic. You cannot overdose on it. Overdose means you just puke it up if you eat too much of this stuff. Now, I'm not an advocate of it. I'm not telling people to eat it, but I'm saying it is your right as a human being to put whatever you want in your body. Kratom is less dangerous than sugar. It is less dangerous than sugar. You know, if we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about things that are seriously dangerous, physically addictive, and hard to kick. How about the FDA? How about the DEA? Step in here and regulate sugar. We don't need the nanny state telling us what to put in our bodies. We don't need the nanny state parrots, the little parrot bots on the internet, telling people what to think and policing people's thought. You have a right to put whatever you want to put in your body. That's your right. That is your God-given right. To say what you want, to think what you want, to feel what you want, as long as it's not harming others, as long as you're not forcing it on other people violently, like the DEA does when they criminalize these drugs and incarcerate millions and millions of people, many of them minorities. And no, I'm not turning this into a political race conversation. I will back off and just say, don't give me that BS that kratom or any plant is seriously bad. You should be able to grow opium poppies in your front yard, slice them open, harvest the sap, and do as you please with it. But in the United States of America, you can grow poppies, yet the moment you score it, you slice it, to pull the medicinal properties from it, it's illegal. You know why? Because of greed, ignorance, and compliance. And a lot of propaganda and a lot of money. Thank you, DuPont. Thank you, pharmaceutical industry. All right, let's move on. I'm positive, people. It's about creating the positive future, but sometimes you got to tear down some old barriers. Sometimes you got to tear down some old BS to build upon a foundation of truth. Michael Bethea, what's up, man? Karina Nielsen, what's up? All right, going back up. I got so many questions. Here we go. All right. Do you drink raw milk or kefir on your diet? If I'm doing a ketogenic diet, I won't be doing raw milk, kefir. I could do kefir. I do enjoy raw milk if I'm not in ketosis. I'm not doing keto, but I prefer to be in ketosis most of the time. I think raw milk is fantastic. And again, it is your right as a human being to be able to consume raw milk. And this nanny state thing is just getting freaking ridiculous, people. Come on now. Raw milk. I mean, you've got the federal government raiding raw milk sellers and producers in Los Angeles years ago. I haven't really kept up with this issue too much, but the raw milk thing is absurd in the U.S. Should be able to eat whatever you want, whenever you want. Okay. Nico Arete says, just looked at my body composition data. Turns out I've built 4.5 kilos of muscle, lost 4.5 kilos of fat since the start of October doing keto and intermittent fasting and have not kept at it perfectly. Congratulations, Nico. That's awesome. All right, 4.5 kilos of muscle while losing 5.5 kilos of fat. That sounds ridiculous. Since the start of October, I mean, that's within less than 8 weeks. I don't know the accuracy of what you're using to measure it. If you're using a DEXA scan, it's still margin of error. But hey, sounds like you're doing absolutely fantastic. And for the individual who asked earlier about body recomposition, building lean muscle, losing fat, there you go right there. Now, for somebody who's been training for a long time, for somebody who's nearer their genetic limit for holding muscle, like me, for instance, much harder for me to gain a significant amount of muscle and lose a significant amount of fat, but I can still do it if I dial in my diet and training and do everything correctly. So it's possible. Congratulations. Good work, Nico. Oh, there's Jessica and Ryder and Ariana. What's up, family? All right. Dio Neoden says, been having a lot of headaches after my training and first meal. Feels like it's coming from my neck and jaw. I eat a lot of salt, magnesium, and veggies. Maybe this goes back to what I'm talking about earlier. The structural integrity of your body. The fascia system. What's probably going on, you might have a forward head posture. You get a forward head posture, that's going to result in a tightening of this jaw. It could be a lot of things. So your hips could be crooked. What's causing the forward head posture could be anything from an imbalance in the way that you use your foot, the way that your foot connects to your hip, the way that your hip connects to your thoracic spine. It's just, that's probably what you're looking at, man. You're probably not training intelligently. You're probably going in there with a crooked frame. You're not being concerned as much with biomechanics as you are being concerned with lifting heavy weight, and that is a recipe for disaster. Hey, I learned from experience. So yeah, get the body straight. Do some more corrective exercise. Maybe work with some lighter weight. Maybe stop doing heavy weights. Maybe get some kettlebells and start working on some dynamic movements. You can train muscle, build muscle without doing isolation exercises and these compound barbell movements. It might be a little bit more daunting to create a program and a flow, but hey, it's much more fun when you start using these other tools that are more dynamic and that respect human movement patterns. Because the way that we're training now, using like barbells and stuff like that, we're not really training, for the most part. People are not training the human body in a way that respects human biomechanics. People are not training the body in the optimal way. They're training the body based on a whole paradigm that's stubbornly built around primitive equipment that was developed over 100 years ago, and that should have been updated a long time ago. But it's just really easy and simple to look at the barbell and the dumbbells as the quintessential pieces of equipment for training the body. But let's go beyond that. There's much more out there. Maybe get into some kettlebells. Start swimming or something. You know, I mean, you gotta promote structural integrity and the use of the entire body. The connection and integration of these movement patterns is crucial. If you're just doing bench press, squat, and deadlift and going home being sedentary playing Xbox or PS4 or whatever, PS5 or whatever the kids playing these days, then you're not really doing yourself too many favors there. Joe Koenig, what's up, man? Have you ever had stomach issues with keto? I'm having issues getting in enough fat without upsetting my stomach. Any advice? Hey, man, I've had stomach issues with any diet. You know, I mean, that's the first thing that becomes disturbed in me when I'm stressed out, is my digestion will get messed up. And I've done things in the past that have probably damaged it quite a bit. You're having trouble getting all the fat in. Maybe you're eating more fat than you're supposed to. I mean, if you're having trouble digesting what you're eating more than you can digest. One thing you could look into is using some digestive enzymes or some ox bile salts to break down the fats, but it could be, you don't want to sidestep the real issue here. So the real issue could be environmental, could be stress, could just be that you're stuffing too much food down the hatch and your body can't deal with it all. So maybe step back a little bit, eat at a comfort level that you can digest, and then start adjusting from there, Joe. Good luck, man. But yeah, I mean, if you eat too much, you're not going to digest it, man. That's how it goes. Chelsea says, I usually hear that keto state happens if carbs are as low as 50 grams. If that's correct, an avocado has 20 grams of carbs, and by the end of my day, I'll probably eat a lot more. Net carbs, Chelsea. And for you as a female, if you're trying to induce ketosis, you're probably going to stay around 30 grams and under net carbs. But we're looking at carbs minus fiber. So an avocado is not 20 grams net carbs. Avocado is probably around 4 to 6 grams net carbs. Oh, it probably just relieved so much of your stress, right? All right. Good luck, Chelsea. David, Mireless, how's it going, man? Thank you. Shout out to David, longtime viewer. Tuxgasm, I've lost strength from going from 173 to 159. Looking to lose 5 to 10 more pounds. Advice on going forward to meet my goals without losing more strength. You're not losing strength. You're not losing actual strength. Your relative strength is probably the same or improved, man. Listen, if you dropped from 173 pounds to 159 pounds and your bench press, your deadlift, your squat or whatever has dropped a little bit, you got to look at the strength to weight ratio. So look at the strength to weight ratio. Not all is lost. When you lose weight, of course, you'll be less strong. You weigh less, but for your weight, you're probably just as strong. All right, Amar says, thanks for answering the question. Could I ask, which is better, body recomposition with the classical ketogenic diet or targeted? Okay, some people call this thing a targeted ketogenic diet where you eat a small amount of carbohydrates before training. You can do that if you want. I mean, what do I think is best? What I think is best is what works best for you. So if I was working with you as a client, I would first of all do it on a classical ketogenic diet. Not meaning it has to be 80% fat dietarily. I would do a well-formulated, nutrient-dense ketogenic diet giving you enough protein, and we would twiddle with that fat until we find just the right level. And yeah, that's how I would do it. You don't need those carbs before the workout. 10, 20 grams of carbs, they're not going to do anything for you. I don't know. I mean, if you're going to have something before a workout, try a little bit of maca. What about like maybe about 5 grams of carbs? Our maca, which is real maca, unlike the maltodextrin laced stuff that you're going to find throughout most of the market, we export this stuff directly from the Andes, so we know what's in it. And actually, a client of mine emailed me the other day. I didn't even tell him what to expect from it. I was like, take maca in the morning. He emails me with this really excited energy, like, is this maca? I don't know if this maca is supposed to have me really energized, but I took it before a workout and I felt amazing, and I left the workout feeling amazing still. Like, what's up with this? It's an adaptogen. So it does actually boost mood in a lot of people. For some people who need to rest and relax, though, it can calm the central nervous system and allow you to relax. But if you are going to take something like maca right before a workout, it will help your HPA axis to adapt to the stressors of that workout and get into it quickly. So rather than using dextrose or gummy bears or sweet tarts or all this other stupid crap that people recommend, why don't you just take a little bit of maca before the workout and see how awesome you feel and see how awesome you perform. And it's non-stimulant energy, so it feels different. Just a suggestion. And like, obviously, a blatant plug for our maca, which is freaking awesome. So if you haven't checked out the maca yet, check it out at Primal Edge Health. Check it out at primaledgehealth.com. Our maca is sold in 1 kilo bags, and our 1 kilo bags cost less than some people's 1 pound bags cost. And the quality, I guarantee you, is twice the quality, because I know what gets exported, and there's some real strangeness that goes on in the food industry as well as the supplement industry. So these foods like maca and cacao and stuff like that, unfortunately, just because it says it's organic and it's great and it's this and that, doesn't mean that's what you're getting, folks. But what I can promise you is any products that we bring you through our website will be of the highest integrity, the highest quality possible, and we will only bring you things that we personally use ourselves and recommend. That's why we're not selling a bunch of crap. Sell just the good stuff. All right. Karina Nielsen says, I just wanted to say thank you, Jessica, for preaching an amazing way of life. I love your approach and outlook on life and why we are here. Thank you, Karina. Why we are here. Man. Thank you. Thank you for enjoying the content. Let's see. Doobie Brown says, care to share any thoughts on Taoism or other Eastern philosophies? No. Isms and schisms. Let's see. Michael Bethelia, what's up from California? How's it going, man? It's all about feeling good. I started keto diet in January. Went from 260 pounds to 180 pounds. Congratulations. That's incredible. So in less than a year, you've lost 260 pounds to 180 pounds. You lost 60 pounds. It's incredible. No, wait, what is that? Bad math. Yeah, that's 60 pounds. Incredible, man. Congratulations, Michael. Maintain my weight and attitude by running and fasting off and on. Keto, what do you think of this? Oh, all right. So he's reached his weight loss goal and he's starting to implement some more carbohydrate-based foods. Great question, Michael. Carbohydrates, when do they grow? They grow in the long light cycles, right? They're especially abundant around the vernal equinox and the spring equinox. So seasonal carbohydrate intake is probably the best way to go. If you look at anthropology, if you look at how we developed as a species, we want to eat foods that are endemic to our local environment. We want to eat foods in season. If you're importing watermelons and bananas to Montreal in the middle of the winter, there's a huge mismatch there. So absolutely eating some seasonal local carbohydrates within your environment in those long light cycles, great idea. But you'll probably find that you feel better on keto like I do. And that might be your new baseline habit, but experiment with it, man. Congratulations on the fat loss. Keep it up. And I'm stoked for you, man. Good job. That's 60 pounds in less than a year. And I've seen people do 100 pounds in a year. So this is pretty awesome. Good job, Michael. Greetings from London. What's up, Lucas? Greetings to you as well, my love. What's up, PEH? Loving HF LC lifestyle. My wife and I thank you for all you do. Love the maca. Turning on other people to the maca. Thanks, Carrie and Bev. Thank you, Carrie and Bev. That's what happens. You find something that's so awesome and you want to share it. So yeah, dose up your friends and family on that maca, and it's pretty cool to you can sometimes watch people's mood boost and watch people kind of relax and feel better. If you make a dish with maca, you don't have to tell anybody what maca does. That can be kind of fun, make a nice, you can make like a cake or something, make one of the recipes from maca, the Andean adaptogen, which is a free ebook. It's got a bunch of recipes in there. You make one of those recipes, share it with your friends and family, and just watch the mood elevate around you. It's pretty cool. Nico says, I would like to add that I've had more muscle earlier in life and I now weigh 143 kilos. So that explains some of it. Okay, there you go. Bioimpediment used for body composition on a Withings scale. Okay. Look, you're making great progress. You're not getting the exact data from those scales. No scale is going to tell you how much body fat and stuff you're losing. If I step on my little scale right now, I got this, whatever normal scale you can buy on Amazon. Supposedly it'll tell you your body fat levels too. They'll tell me I'm like 30% body fat. So these things are not very accurate, but you're definitely losing body fat. You're definitely gaining muscle, and you're definitely enjoying it and doing a great job, Nico. So I know you've been watching for a while and following the channel, and thanks for finding value here, and keep it up. You're doing a great job. Nisa Williams says, wait, where'd it go? Nisa says MCT oil is great before a workout also. Yeah. You know what I actually like to do? My favorite way to use MCT oil Actually, I almost never use it unless I put maca in it. So I take like a teaspoon to 3 teaspoons, depending on the day, 1 to 3 teaspoons of maca. Just put it in like a little bowl, then put a tablespoon of MCT oil on that, and I stir it up. And it tastes so good. I don't know. It gets this like butterscotchy, I don't know how to explain it. Butterscotchy, oily, sweet deliciousness. And so that's my favorite way of using MCT oil. And one of my favorite ways of using maca, if you just want to get it in quickly. Now, some people don't like the taste of maca. I really enjoy it. So, I mean, I don't know. If you don't like the taste of maca, I understand. It might be an acquired taste, but I would say give it a chance and try it with some MCT oil. You can even put a little stevia in there if you need something sweeter for some reason. But MCT plus maca pre-workout equals boom. You'll like it. Chelsea says, thanks so much. Guilty eating a chocolate bar. Wait, let me read this. Guilty eating a chocolate bar from America. I don't normally do that. Just found a candy shop from America in the UK. Chelsea's using this as a confessional. She ate a chocolate bar. Enjoy your chocolate bar, Chelsea. You know what, though? You can eat chocolate and have delicious chocolate that you make yourself out of way, way better chocolate, way, way higher quality ingredients, with none of that like, oh, so much sugar or whatever feeling. We're going to put up a recipe soon for chocolate. I haven't made it in like a week because it took us a while to perfect it, and it's got a lot of funky ingredients that we use, but it can be whittled down. So we'll put this in this, we'll put a video and a recipe up soon for this awesome keto chocolate bar that is nutrient dense, give you proteins and fats, and you can load it up with maca for that adaptogen vibe. And yeah, you can totally eat lots of chocolate. What you want to go for is a 100% cacao, 100% chocolate. And if you use a combination of cacao butter and cacao paste, cacao butter and cacao powder, or instead you can use cacao paste. Now, the cacao butter is when you take the chocolate bean, they cold press it, or they squeeze the oils out and then separate the dry parts, which is called the cake in the manufacturing process here. But what we call that product is the cacao powder. That's the dried cake that comes out when you're separating it from the oils. When you just separate those oils, it creates what's called cacao butter. Now, you can increase or decrease the amount of bitterness in your chocolate by adding more or less cacao powder. Now, if you use cacao paste, it's basically stone ground. Most people don't use stone grinders, but they'll say they do. It would be ground cacao beans, which are fermented from the cacao fruit, which is what chocolate comes from. So, yeah, anyways, you can use cacao butter and cacao powder to make your own chocolate. You could sweeten that with something like Lakanto, like a 0-calorie, the monk fruit extract that has some erythritol as well. Lakanto is a great sweetener for things like that. For most people, it will not cause stomach upset. And the monk fruit extract is known to balance and even lower blood sugar. So, dude, you can make chocolate that will lower your blood sugar, improve your state of ketosis, and give you that amazing feeling of the theobromine, the phenethylamines that chocolate gives you, where it kind of makes you feel like more open-hearted. And yeah, you can get all that with no sugar. It just takes a little bit of knowledge, and that's what we're here to give you. So that recipe will be in a future recipe book, but we'll put that online as well pretty soon, maybe this week. I'm making myself hungry for chocolate now. All right. Chelsea says, do you or your wife write cooking recipes? Chelsea, are you just trying to bait me into talking about the cookbook? Chelsea, check out the website, primaledgehealth.com. We've got a lot of recipes. We've got a free maca ebook with over 17 recipes for free of charge. Nothing. You don't need nothing for that one. So check that out. A lot of recipes in there. Low carb, keto, maca recipes. But also, we've got a cookbook. It's got 137 recipes. It's over 200. How many pages is the cookbook? Like 238 pages? It might be almost 300. About 280 pages. There's a lot of theory in there. There's entire sections on how to build a proper keto kitchen. There's an entire section on how to use and combine spices to bring out certain things. So like to bring out sweet flavors, for instance. So we talk about all this stuff, talk about how to implement a proper ketogenic diet, a high fat, low carbohydrate diet that is nutrient dense. We teach how to create a well-formulated ketogenic diet. And we get into all kinds of stuff. There's even a section on how to use organ meats. There's even an entire section teaching you how to use and implement organ meats into your nutrition. So yeah, we've got lots of recipes for free on the website. If you like what you see, check out the Ketogenic Edge cookbook. I mean, the reviews are in. We've got nothing but fantastic reviews. So I just want to thank our audience. Thank you so much for supporting our work, for buying this cookbook. It took Jessica and I over a year to get this project completed. And these are all recipes made in our simple little kitchen here in Ecuador. We're not using a whole bunch of fancy ingredients. So no matter where you are, you will be able to replicate these recipes. Some might take slight modifications, but it is not this esoteric, difficult thing, ketogenic meal prep. We've got an entire training manual called the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook, a training manual for low carb, ketogenic, and paleo cuisine. So check that out. Dio Neoden, how would you replenish electrolytes after a workout? And what do you think about using BCAAs, creatine, citrulline, malate, pre and post workout? Woo! Getting jacked costs money. Got to get that citrulline, malate. Got to take that creatine. Got to take that. What else? BCAAs. You need to be sipping on BCAAs all day long, or your muscles will catabolize. If you don't have at least 30 grams of protein 15 times a day, the muscle's going to fall off. I'm kidding, obviously. I'm being facetious. That is a good question, Dio Neoden. How would you replenish electrolytes after a workout? First of all, increase your sodium intake before a workout. Maybe take a little dose of magnesium before a workout. I also like to use transdermal magnesium. It works very well. Magnesium chloride. Some people call it magnesium oil. It's not truly an oil. It's magnesium chloride mixed with water. So you can use that to replenish your electrolytes. That can work very well. Maybe take a half teaspoon, quarter teaspoon to a half teaspoon of salt before the workout, and then after the workout as well. Potassium, avocado, and spinach are probably some of the best dietary sources of that. But you could also use potassium citrate, which I use occasionally. I got bulk potassium citrate, and of course, you want to be careful. And the legal dosage on potassium citrate is only 99 milligrams. But you can look deeper into that and make some decisions on how to safely and effectively use that yourself. So, yeah, take them before the workout. And then if you need to, take them after as well. But, all right, so you're talking about using BCAAs, creatine, citrulline malate, pre and post workout. All right, so citrulline malate, that's usually used for like a pump, get that volumization of the cell. Creatine can improve water volumization of cell. It can improve ATP production, and it can be a mild nootropic. So I think creatine can have its benefits for people. I've not really seen too many cogent arguments against creatine being perhaps beneficial. I've heard people claim, oh, it's dangerous, could be bad for your kidneys, but yet to see any real scientific proof of that. So creatine, sure. If creatine works for you, do it. You can also get creatine from eating beef and fish. Red meat has quite a bit of creatine, so you can get it from there as well. As far as post-workout, pre-workout, BCAAs you already have when you're on a ketogenic diet, and all the studies they've done on athletes in ketosis. In ketosis, you have higher levels of circulating branched-chain amino acids. Lysine, leucine, isoleucine, and what was the other one? Not proline. The branched-chain amino acids. So you have higher circulating BCAAs already. If you're getting enough protein, there's no need to buy these BCAAs. If you look at the research that's done on the BCAAs, first of all, it's all sponsored by who? The people selling you these BCAAs. And these BCAAs are freaking expensive. They're super, super expensive. So I would say save your money on these BCAAs, citrulline, malate, etc. Go for some real foods, man. Try the freaking maca. Try it. I mean, try maca pre-workout. You'll probably drop all these other wasteful supplements. I mean, these are expensive, right? It gets expensive being trendy and jacked. But yeah, man, save your money. This is buy foods. You know, expand your knowledge and use of herbs rather than using all these isolated amino acids and whatnot. So that's my advice. But yeah, hey, some people like that citrulline. They want that pump. Got to get that pump. So do what you got to do. It's all about what works for you. Is it necessary? Will it give you way better results? No. But if it gives you that little boost in your mind, if it gives you that nice placebo effect, have at it, man. Enjoy it. I had a keto rash when I wasn't eating enough protein, says Al. Let's see. Another question. All right. Looks like from Czech Republic or from Russia. We've got an individual whose name I don't know how to read, but she or he is asking, does heating protein destroy the amino acids? Which is better, roasted or boiled meat? All right. Context, right? Superheating anything will destroy it and create advanced glycation end products, which are toxic in the body. So fried up bacon, eating fried bacon every day, you will be getting a decent dose of those AGEs, those advanced glycation end products. So you do want to avoid heating things as like super high. When I eat steaks, I get it rare, like rare steaks. I've always liked rare steaks. So yeah, go for whatever is the least cooked is probably going to be healthier for you. Now, barbecuing tastes delicious. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Grilling something up over an open flame, charbroiled steak, tastes awesome. But, you want to minimize the intake of these toxic compounds. If you're concerned about that, then of course you want to heat your meat less, cook it at a lower temperature, and slow cooking would probably be safer than frying over a hot, high heat. So there's your answer. But you don't need to make such a big deal out of it too. If you're going to eat food, you got to enjoy it. Don't get that like fear about the food you're eating. Oh no, this piece of meat has a little bit of brown on the outside. It means it's going to hurt me. It's going to, don't get into that mind state. Enjoy your food and just, try and optimize the way you prepare it as much as possible. Madeline Culbertson says, my post-workout is bone broth blended with spinach, maca, turmeric, pepper, and raw butter. Hey, that's so cool. There's so many people come up with these really creative ways of using things. I've never thought of mixing in maca with bone broth, but I think that's a great idea. As far as just nutrition, I don't know about taste. I don't know how that taste is going to be, but you've got spinach, so you're getting your electrolytes replenished, a little potassium, also be some magnesium in there. You've got the maca, which is going to balance the HPA axis, help with recovery, and help balance your hormones. Awesome. Turmeric, which is going to blunt a inflammation response and decrease inflammation. Now, might be debatable whether decreasing inflammation directly after resistance training would be beneficial or not. Of course, it would be beneficial for health to blunt inflammation. But when you're creating hypertrophy, you actually do want that inflammation response. So taking ice baths right after a heavy workout might not be the best way to volumize and grow a muscle because it does take inflammation to create muscle growth. Interesting, right? It's all about balance. Nothing is good or bad in and of itself. Mario says, what about 2 days a week? Only on proteins, low fat, low carbs for better fat loss. All right, so you're talking about a protein-sparing modified fast where you're just eating protein for a couple days a week. Context, man. You got a lot of fat to lose. Probably going to be pretty easy to do something like that. Fast can be easy. If you're more lean and you've got significant lean muscle mass, then it might be a little more difficult. So it's all about context. Sure, for some individuals that might work fine. But yeah, it's all about context. But try it out, man. It can be a good strategy. You just want to be careful. You don't want to do extended periods of eating only protein. That's not going to end up well for your health. We need the fats. We need micronutrients. Amar says, I've lost about 14 pounds by doing keto. I'm afraid I've lost muscle mass together with fat. How could I stop losing weight, especially muscle mass now, and gain muscle mass? Eat more food. If you're concerned you lost too much mass, you need to eat more. If you want to gain muscle mass, like I talked about earlier, not only do you need to eat in a caloric surplus, but you need to create a necessity, a perceived necessity in your biology for more muscle. That means resistance training. So yeah, increase your food intake, man. That increase will probably come from fats as well as protein. Protein is highly anabolic, will trigger insulin. And if you want to gain even more weight, add more carbs in there. Carbs are highly anabolic, very good for gaining weight. What's your opinion on distilled water? And have you heard of Kangen water? Kangen water puts normal water through electrolysis. Distilled water, not into it. Where are you going to find distilled water in nature? Don't tell me rainwater is distilled. It's not. Don't tell me fruit juice is distilled. It's not. Don't give me this Andrew Norton Weber crap. The distilled water thing. I know people who love it, who seem to be doing well with it. Personally, I don't think it's a good idea. Spring water would be the best. Yeah. Dio says, can't get your maca. I live in the Netherlands. I'm sorry. Yeah, we can only ship the maca in the continental United States. Well, not only in the continental, but within the United States. We can ship to Hawaii, of course, as well. But yeah, unfortunately, we can't ship outside of the U.S. because part of the way that we keep our costs down is we didn't spend a bunch of money labeling it. We actually, when we sent it to our co-packer, it was supposed to be labeled, but because it was being packed, it was actually bulk order with many other orders being packed at the same time. Somehow the information got lost in translation and our buddy didn't put the labels on or print the labels. But that saved us a few bucks, and we passed those savings on to who? To you. So that's how we keep the price low. We source it directly. We get it directly from small family farms, export it, pack it, and send it right to you. All right, let's see. What about using L-glutamine or acetyl L-carnitine while on keto? That's a good question, Gordon. Again, context, man. So glutamine, why would you be using glutamine? Is it for gut health? If it's for gut health, then it might be something you do want to use if it's helping your symptoms and helping your digestion. You do not necessarily need to cut out the glutamine, but glutamine is glutamine can be converted into glucose rather easily. There are ketogenic amino acids and glucogenic amino acids. Is that even the right term? That might be the wrong term. But that amino acid in particular is not particularly ketogenic. Leucine, however, is very ketogenic. It will not be converted into glucose and can help raise blood ketone levels. But yeah, the glutamine in high amounts, you might want to avoid it. If you're just using it for like recovery and stuff like that, you're probably not getting anything from it anyways. I think the benefits of glutamine, at least from what I've seen, this is my opinion, people. It's not gospel. It's just my opinion. My opinion, glutamine can be useful for gut health as far as muscle recovery and stuff like that. Just eat food. There's plenty of glutamine in all these foods you're going to eat. Acetyl L-carnitine, I think that can be very beneficial depending on context as well. So acetyl L-carnitine can actually improve the mobilization and the burning of fatty acids. But that doesn't mean if you take carnitine, it's going to automatically take a scoop of fat from your body, burn it off into oblivion. It just helps aid the process and can be really good for cardiovascular health as well. And acetyl L-carnitine can be powerful cognition modifier. So some people find that they get really sharp and can boost their mood as well. Senet Nell says, I'd like to ask if you can recommend a few exercises for a full-time working mom. My time is taken up by my 2 beautiful daughters and looking after my family. Good question, Senet. Depending on how old your kids are, you could have the perfect resistance training tools right there. So working on walking with good posture while holding your children is a great way of recovering. That's what Jessica does right now. She walks around with the baby on the backpack, works on having good posture and good biomechanics and movement. Walking lunges while holding one of them babies can be great if you're strong enough for it. But just some simple things like body weight squats and maybe getting a light kettlebell, maybe getting like a 4-kilo kettlebell. That's very light. 4 kilos, be less than 10 pounds. Maybe like a 10-pound kettlebell like that, and you can learn the kettlebell swing, 1-arm kettlebell swing. I'd say those are some good places to start. But yeah, throughout the day, I mean, just doing things like plank with proper form. And you could also look into some DNS stuff, dynamic neuromuscular stabilization. This is from the Prague School of Rehab. And DNS is essentially using primal movement patterns developed when we're babies, in position that you were in when you were a baby, and having you breathe into your diaphragm and begin basic movement progressions from there. That can be very, very helpful, not only for physical health and the health of your fascia and the health and kinetic health, the movement of your body, but also really good mentally and psychologically. Dio Neon says, I just want to get huge, healthy, and shredded. Oh, man. You realize those goals are contradictory, dude. Huge and healthy? No, not going to happen. Carrying more muscle mass than you're meant to is not healthy. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry. Yes, it's fun to get jacked. Feels good to have muscle. But there comes, and I'm not saying that any added muscle is bad. I'm just saying there comes a point where you're trading longevity and true health for being bloated and jacked. Now you can look great. You can have a significant amount of lean muscle mass, be pretty dang lean, and be healthy. But like straight up shredded, peeled, like you see on these on the cover of like magazines and stuff, with these models that are on steroids, first of all. And second of all, it's photoshopped, and they're using very specific lighting and angles. I took my shirt off right now. I could stand in certain angles where I didn't look very big. I could stand at other angles where I'd look super jacked and shredded. A lot of it's illusion. And you can ruin your health chasing these things. Don't ruin your health chasing a 6-pack. Get the priorities, buddy. Dio Neoden. Good luck, man. Find that balance, right? Sinette Nell says, much love to you and your family from Cape Town, South Africa. What's up? We have some very, very close friends from Cape Town, South Africa. Shout out to Cape Town. What's up? Kevin Jackson, how would you cook a turkey for Thanksgiving? Ooh. I'd turn it into salmon. I'd turn it into freaking, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of turkey. I'd rather have chicken, but I'd roast it. I'd roast it with a rub with a recipe from the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook. Shout out to the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook, primaledgehealth.com. I'd use a recipe from the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook, which I use almost every day, and that's the infused oil with turmeric and black pepper, and I might actually add some thyme or something to that as well. But I'd use that infused oil, and I'd rub it all over the outside of the chicken and the inside with salt and pepper. maybe a little bit of, cayenne or chipotle. So I get it spicy. I like spicy. Maybe slice some garlic really thin, put it around there too. And then I'd rub that melted coconut oil all over it. Then I'd roast it and I'd keep basting it, just basting it and basting it and basting it. And then I would eat it with extreme joy. How much muscle loss happens on an intermittent keto eating plan? Lost 16 pounds. Context. I mean, if you're doing it right, you shouldn't lose any muscle. If you're doing it right, you should not lose muscle on your diet. You should gain lean muscle mass, if anything, and lose body fat. So yeah, 0. Losing 16 pounds. What was it? Let's see. 16. How much did you lose again? Come here. 14 pounds. All right. 14 pounds is awesome. Congratulations. It's really cool. 14 pounds. And then how long was that? All right. Let's see. I drink DI water, but only as brewed tea. I don't think it's an issue so long as you're getting minerals and electrolytes. You could be right there, man. If you're getting the minerals and electrolytes from the diet, it could be fine. If you live in it all depends on environment too. Like I'm not going to distill my water when I can get spring water from multiple springs. I'm not going to distill my water when I can get water that's bottled from pristine water that's coming down from, melting glacial lakes above where I live. So in my situation, distilled water is not optimal. Dude, if I lived in like California where I used to live, where there was so much chlorine in the water, the county that I lived in, fortunately, hadn't had the poisonous, fluoride put in the water yet, but the fluoride lobby was always spending millions of dollars trying to get fluoride put into the municipal water supply in Santa Cruz. Why do you think that is, people? Why do you think millions of dollars are being spent to politically maneuver and manipulate and get backroom deals to get fluoride in the water? You think people care that much about your teeth? First of all, fluoride's horrible for your teeth. There's something called dental fluorosis, which is very common in the United States. Too much dang fluoride makes your teeth brittle, chip away. So, yeah, man, if you got a lot of fluoride in your water, chlorine in your water, sure, distilled water is probably way better than that. As long as, like you said, you're getting minerals in. Amar says, could you please recommend a specific artificial sweetener that is keto friendly? Artificial sweetener. No, I won't recommend you an artificial sweetener because most of those artificial sweeteners are crap. I mean, if you want to potentially brain damage yourself with, what's that stuff called? With aspartame, that's fine. But yeah, artificial sweeteners I wouldn't recommend. Now, there are some natural sweeteners that I would say would be a better option. Those natural sweeteners would be things like, we'll start with stevia. Most people's least favorite sweetener in the world, stevia. You could try stevia. I would say the best bet, and you can use this as a 1-to-1 substitute for white sugar, is check out a product called Lakanto. Lakanto, Lakanto. This is erythritol with monk fruit extract. I talked about it earlier. Try that one out. And also, if you check out the Ketogenic Edge cookbook, there's a lot of ways that you can bring out sweet flavors in recipes without necessarily having to use artificial sweeteners or even add sweeteners. I mean, simply using things that are mildly sweet and then surrounding it with other things like cinnamon can really bring out the sweetness. And cinnamon lowers blood sugar, so it's very keto friendly as well. All right, let's see. All right. Cool. Well, it looks like we're running out of questions. Maybe it's time to wrap this up. What do you guys think? Any more questions here? I actually read an interesting thing about sleep cycles recently. Let me pull up this study right now. I can go over a little bit with you guys. We're always talking about optimizing how to optimize the human body, how to optimize performance, how to optimize what we get out of the moment, what we get out of our day. And, sleep is a big thing. Somebody was asking earlier about their disrupted sleep cycles. So there's a study. It was released. I've got the abstract here. I don't have the full text, although I would love to look at the full text. If anybody has access to it, please private message me a link to the full text. But it's called Natural Sleep and its Seasonal Variations in 3 Pre-Industrial Societies. And they studied several pre-industrial societies, and they looked at their sleep cycles. And they found that, all right, let me read you the results. Sleep periods, the times from onset to offset, average 6.9 to 8.5 hours, with sleep duration of 5.7 to 7.1 hours. Amounts near the low end of those industrial societies. There was a difference in nearly 1 hour between summer and winter sleep, meaning they slept about an hour more on average in winter. The sleep period consistently occurred. Now let's see. Daily variation in sleep duration was strongly linked to time of onset rather than offset. None of these groups began sleep near sunset. Onset occurring on average 3.3 hours after sunset. Awakening was usually before sunrise. The sleep period consistently occurred during the nighttime period of falling environmental temperature, was not interrupted by extended periods of waking, and terminated with vasoconstriction near the nadir of daily ambient temperature. So what that's basically saying is, it's showing us that not only is light a major regulator of our sleep cycle, but temperature as well. So this is fascinating, right? We talked about earlier about modifying your light and your environment, and modifying the way that you're exposed to light to maximize your to optimize circadian rhythms rather, and get healthy sleep cycle. Now, another thing you're going to want to do is look at the temperature. We should be sleeping in a colder environment than we're used to, people. We have acclimated ourselves to sleep in this artificial indoor environment, and it is augmenting the way we sleep. So perhaps this winter, if you're having some trouble sleeping, don't crank the heater up to 75 degrees when you're going to fall asleep. Let it drop. Let it drop to the low 60s at night. Let it cool off, because those cooler temperatures will help you sleep better. So, very interesting. All right. Another question. Does fiber irritate the stomach and intestine and cause constipation? That's a good question, and it's context dependent. Some people do seem to have issues with fiber. In my experience, some individuals, when they're dealing with irritable bowel syndrome, stuff like that, fiber can be a big issue. If I get an upset stomach, my digestion gets wacky, I almost always, without fail, will fast for a few days. And then when I reintroduce food, I start with just proteins and fats. And then I reintroduce the fiber after. Because, when you're immune compromised, if you got leaky gut, some of this fiber stuff can be harsh on it. Now, I think fiber is a very important part of a human diet. And most people would do well to eat a wide array of vegetables, of leafy vegetables. But, it's all context dependent, right? A lot of people who have digestive issues do fantastically on like a 0-carb diet, so it's all about context, people. I'm not recommending a 0-carb diet. I'm not saying that's the way you should go, but some people do well with it with gut issues. All right. Born Jumaku, thanks for all the interviews, man. You should start an email list so I know when these Q&As are going to happen. Go to the website, primaledgehealth.com. We do have an email list, and maybe we will start announcing these Q&As, these live hangouts before they happen, but I tend to do them more spontaneously. So just pay attention. You can actually set a reminder, and when you set there's a way to subscribe where you will be sent a reminder and a message anytime we post something. So you might want to look into that as well. You could set like a Google reminder for it too. John says, I'm doing intermittent fasting while bulking. Do you recommend that? Ooh, it's a fine line you're walking there, John. Intermittent fasting while bulking. If you're just trying to add lean mass, intermittent fasting might not be the best way to do it, but it can actually be a fantastic way to lean bulk if your macros are right and if your training's right. So assuming that everything's lined up in your diet, you can do it, but I don't know. I'd have to look at everything you were doing, man. If you're my client, I wouldn't put you on intermittent fasting protocol. I might have you do something like 2 meals, 1 large meal in the morning, 1 large meal in the afternoon, with your workout being sometime midday. That might be a way to go. But there's many different ways you can cut it, and there's many different ways that I implement lean mass phases for clients. So yeah, I mean, try it, man. If it's working, it's working. Just make sure you're getting enough calories and you'll be fine. All right, Corman says, how does the ketogenic diet help with inflammation? I have psoriatic arthritis, and it's getting to a point where even walking for an hour becomes very painful and stiff. Corman, you were in luck. Now, I'm not saying like a ketogenic diet is going to cure anything, right? It's not a cure. It's a lifestyle change that can result in many, many benefits for a lot of people. But if you look at the research, if you simply search in PubMed, anti-inflammatory ketones, beta-hydroxybutyrate has been studied pretty extensively now. There's something out, and it's got very, very powerful anti-inflammatory mechanisms in the body. Very, very powerful anti-inflammatory mechanisms. You're losing a lot of water weight. You're not creating as many advanced glycation end products. Your blood sugar is lower, so there's less glycosylation. There's less metabolic waste in the body. Therefore, it's easier for your body to eliminate toxins because it's got less toxins to eliminate. But that's just a few of the ways that a ketogenic diet can decrease inflammation. Now, let me give you an anecdote that's not even keto. My grandmother, when I was growing up, I remember her knuckles would be so big and swollen. She had rheumatoid arthritis for almost her entire adult life. She had a highly stressful period in her adult life. She's an amazing, strong warrior, this woman. And she had rheumatoid arthritis for a long time. She had a lot of stress at earlier parts of her life, and I think it might have been triggered by that. But she ended up modifying her diet and eating essentially kind of a modified paleo-style diet. I'm not saying a paleo-style diet is going to cure any disease. For most people, it can be kind of beneficial, but you got to change the environment as well. So you're going to want to decrease inflammation not only by changing your dietary environment, but also your internal environment. How do you react to stress? So finding ways to decrease stress, getting some hobbies that will help you decrease stress, things like free diving, maybe doing a little bit of cold therapy, cold thermogenesis, can also greatly help reduce stress. But my grandma, whose knuckles were always so big and swollen, she used to, like, her rings would get stuck. She had to have rings cut off of her hands at times because they get so swollen. She's pretty much reversed. She's gotten off all medication for her arthritis, and she doesn't complain about it at all. She says it's cured. She calls it cured simply from removing grains, sugars, and a lot of carbohydrates from her diet. She doesn't do a ketogenic diet, but she does a high-fat diet, whole foods diet. She focuses on grass-fed beef and organic foods. She takes collagen and these other things that help support the rebuilding of these healthy tissues. And she supports her immune system by doing therapy through art. And she makes beautiful artwork. So those are some lifestyle changes that she says reverse her arthritis. So look into it. It's a lot you can do. Nick says, Tristan, thanks for the tips. A live stream ago, I fall asleep so fast now, like 10 o'clock. Dude, that's so cool. Nick, I've never met you. I've only seen your name. That's so awesome. Thank you, man. There you go, man. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you sharing this with your friends and family. If you find value in this, share it. Support us. Support our work. We've got the Ketogenic Edge cookbook out there for those of you who do want to support. And if you're living in the United States, the continental U.S., We've got the maca as well. So if you enjoy the content, the way we keep this content coming is through your support. So thank you. We love doing this. We love what we do. We love putting this information out there. There's a wealth of information and stuff we put out for free. And it's so cool that that you find value in that, Nick, and that you're sleeping better. Thanks, man. Thanks for the shout out. Let's see. Since starting listening to your channel, I've been taking a break outside before bed, trying to go into bed by 9 in the evening, says Sanet. Yeah. Well, in the study that I just read, most of these pre-industrial societies are asleep about 3 hours after the sun goes down. The activities that they engage in during that are usually food preparation, things like family time, quiet contemplation, checking out the stars, stuff like that. So yeah, that's what we've done historically as a species. We've looked up at the night sky. We've enjoyed our environment. We've listened and felt the sounds and smells around us. Sat around the fire, shared stories, snuggled up with loved ones, given our husbands massages. Shout out to Jessica, who gave me an amazing massage last night. I think she's going to sleep. Nap time for Jessica. Now, another interesting thing about these pre-industrial cultures is that during, let me get this right. Let me get this fact correct. Napping occurred on 7% of days in the winter and 22% of days in the summer. Interesting, right? So also, to light during the day in these pre-industrial societies would be in the morning. So in the morning, they go out, they're in the sun, doing whatever work needs to be done, whatever manual work around the abode where they're living, whatever type of society this may be. And this is not hunter-gatherer societies necessarily, it's just pre-industrial. These can be rural pre-industrial societies. And there's a lot of this still going on in Russia and in lots of places around the world. The world has not been completely swallowed into the bowels of Babylon yet. People still live according to some of these ancient principles. So they would wake up during the morning. They would seek shade during the day. They usually weren't out in the hot midday sun. They were outside in the morning and in the afternoon. And midday would be spent probably eating and napping. And you actually still see this throughout most of Latin America today. Most Ecuadorians go to sleep around 9, 10 o'clock, wake up before the sun comes up, work throughout the day, seek shade midday, then work the afternoon, and go to sleep at night. So difficult and complicated, right, guys? Be exposed to the natural light cycles around you, move your body throughout the day. Don't stare at your cell phone and computer all night. Simple, and it works. So if you're having trouble sleeping, try it out. Sanet says, wait, I already read that. Get Leverage says, just curious, do you recommend a ketogenic diet for all of your clients or just those with a specific metabolic profile like higher A1C, triglyceridemia, or carbohydrate sensitivities? I mean, most of my clients are on a ketogenic diet. Almost all of my clients are definitely on a higher fat diet. Currently, 95% of my clients are on a ketogenic diet. I don't recommend keto to everybody, but most of the clients that come to me want to try a ketogenic diet too. So although I'm proficient in implementing other types of diets for making body composition changes, ketogenic diet just happens to be one of my favorite tools. I don't know if you're trying to bait me into sounding dogmatic or what, but yeah, most of my clients do a ketogenic diet. That's not because I think everybody should be on keto, but the nature of a lot of the content we put out here on this channel draws attention from people looking to try a ketogenic diet. So that's what's up. Thanks for the comment. Get Leverage. Or a question, rather. Let's see. Dio Neon says, lost 32 kg, but still got the love handles while the rest is getting leaner and leaner. Maybe because I still got the anxiety disorder. It is way lower on keto, by the way, but not gone yet. Yeah, man. I mean, around the lower back, the love handles and stuff. I know a lot of people are going to tell you, oh, like that's from this or that's from that. Yes, you could have an estrogen dominance. You could probably do have some hormone imbalances going on, but you're pushing in the right direction with what you're doing. You're correcting your lifestyle, your diet, and your environment, and your body's making positive changes. Quit staring at the dang love handles and touching them all the time and focus on the progress that you're getting, and eventually they'll disappear. One day you wake up, look in the mirror, and realize, wow, they're gone. So yeah, I mean, just quit focusing on it. I mean, like, no matter what, like, if you look, you'll always have fat around the lower back, no matter how lean you get. Like, the leanest you can be and be alive, then you're not going to have like that lower back fat, that just shredded Christmas tree look on the back. But for the most part, you're always going to have some fat around the midsection and lower back. Quit obsessing over it. Focus on how you feel. Focus on how you move, how you can breathe and move the energy through your body. Focus on that. And quit worrying about the love handles. Quit focusing on these little problems that you perceive. That's not a problem. They're going away. You could take waist measurements too if you want to watch them slowly go away and obsess over them the whole time. But I'd say keep doing what you're doing. Quit staring at that and find something else to look at the first time you look in the mirror, because we all got that. When you look in the mirror, there's that one thing that you look for first where it's like, like, I don't like that angle, it's ugly. Everybody's got this way that they present themselves in the mirror. That's not how other people see you. That's not how you really look. That's just this little, like, usually just this insecurity program, like, throwing this out there, and then it gets imprinted through repetition. So break the pattern. Quit looking at yourself the same way. Stand at a different angle or whatever. Do something. All right. Get Leverage says, okay, just curious. I've been on a ketogenic diet for more than 2 years, but find compliance to be an issue for others who love their carbs and refined sugar. Yeah, man. I mean, I get what you're saying. Carbs and refined sugar. It's like, look, you think about it. I mean, I could think about some delicious carbs and refined sugar food, but at the same time, it feels so good when I do keto. And obviously, you've been doing it for 2 years, so you feel the same. I see nothing wrong with occasionally having some of these foods for most people. It all depends on context, though. And yeah. Well, if a client comes to me and they're completely into carbs and refined sugar, I'll be very surprised, because usually when people come to me, they've seen a significant amount of the work that we do. They know that we recommend a nutrient-dense whole foods diet, that we recommend eating high-quality food, that we really focus on food quality. So there's kind of a buffer right there. We don't get like these IIFYM Pop-Tart chuckers coming around here. Get Leverage says, LOL, I love that. Find something else to look at in the mirror. Triceps still. So this is what's crazy. All right, so let's get into this. I'll just use you as an example, right? Your triceps. So if you look in a mirror, let's see, me for example, right? Like, can you even see my triceps? Like, there's my triceps. Now, depending on the angle, it can look really big, can look really ripped, or it can look really small. It all depends on the angle, right? Nobody sees your body from your angle, first of all. So the little insecurity that's getting you to stare at the tricep and worry about what it looks like. First of all, if you want to just attack this from the logic side, no one sees your body like you see your body. No one sees it from that angle. It's all about angles, tricks of light. That's what these fitness models that you're seeing are doing. These people don't look like this in real life. It didn't even look like that on the day they shot those pictures. So maybe instead of looking at your triceps all the time and hating it, I don't know, maybe just don't look at your triceps. Look at something you like. Maybe stop preening yourself in the mirror so much and spending time doing that. And when the inclination comes, realize the cycle, right? Realize the cycle. When that little inkling comes, oh, look at your triceps. Do that one pose in the mirror that you don't like. And you do it, and then you feel insecure and you feel bad. Then you go in that loop. Then you're like, oh, you want to go lift weights so you look better. And it's this insecurity feedback loop. What's the point of it? What is it doing for you? It's not doing anything other than robbing you of your life force and controlling you. It's controlling you. So take control of that automatic response. Take control of that mechanical response. That's probably the best way to do it. But also, just try looking at it at a different freaking angle too. There might be some angle where it looks better. All these fitness models you see, all these pictures, it's about angles, tricks of light. If I stand down here like this, look real small. If I stand up like this, it can look bigger. I mean, it's I don't know. It's madness. Image, perception. You can ruin your health trying to get a six-pack. You can ruin it. All right. Yeah, get lever. It says self-loathing. It's doing nothing for me. Exactly, man. Self-loathing, if you're using that as your fuel, it's like it's dirty fuel. Self-loathing is the carbohydrates of psychological fuel. I mean, that's like, come on, what do you really, like, you might feed on fat physically, but what do you feed on energetically? What runs you energetically? Is it insecurity? Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it jealousy? What's driving you to do these behaviors in the moments? And I think it's really important. You're creating a feedback loop of insecurity and tying in your training with that insecurity while training poor motor patterns on a body that's all crooked and can't move correctly. I mean, you're training in that insecurity. So you're literally physically like programming yourself with insecurity when you're doing your little bicep curls, thinking how shitty your arms look. You're programming your body with that. And you're going through that ritual over and over again, ingraining it in your mind. And your mind's been hijacked. It's not you that's making these decisions. It's this little insecurity that's prodding you to do it. So quit using that as fuel. Find a different fuel source. All right. Moving on. From our friend in Czech Republic or Russia or somewhere that uses these amazing letters. What do you think about adding animal organs like liver and heart? Whew, I love it. Almost every day I have a little bit of liver and heart. You know how I do that? Pemmican with liver and heart in it. Now there's recipe for this pemmican. There's actually a recipe there's a recipe for pemmican in the Ketogenic Edge cookbook that you can find on primaledgehealth.com. And there's actually an entire section on organ meats. It's one of the best introductions on how to use organ meats that you can find. We show you how to use all the organ meats, including brain, which can be delicious. But liver and heart are probably the best place to start for most people. Heart might be the best introductory one. And you can get heart ground up. You can actually get it half and half from your butcher. You can have ground heart with ground beef. And you can just cook it like normal ground beef, and it's delicious. What else can you do? I mean, you could also, the way I like to do it, Jessica makes pemmican, which is a ancient Native American survival food used for thousands of years, made from the rendered fat of an animal, of a ruminant, with the dried meat. So it's essentially meat and fat. It's like the ultimate keto travel food. And what we like to do is we dry liver and heart, as well as some muscle meat, and we mix the three of those in with the fat with spices. And the recipe, you can find this in the Ketogenic Edge cookbook, the recipe for our pemmican. And to make it like I'm talking about now, you simply add, and we give this option in the book, I believe, too. You simply add dried liver and dried heart to it. Dried and ground liver and heart. You know, dehydrate it, grind it up in a food processor or a high-quality blender or something. And, yeah. Absolutely a huge fan of organ meats, of what's called offal, which I think offal is a really bad word for it, but I'm a big fan of it. Highly nutrient dense. These are the parts of the animal that are the most prized. So when a pack of wolves kills something, you know who eats the liver? Only the alpha. So only the alpha of the pack usually eats the liver. The heart and the liver can be some of the most are some of the most prized pieces of the animal by any predator. I'm remembering this scene, this amazing scene from the film The Revenant, when DiCaprio's character is, I mean, he's just absolutely starving, totally beat up, and he comes upon this guy who'd slain a buffalo. It's just one of the most beautifully shot scenes in recent film history. I've got to watch this film again. I really, really enjoyed The Revenant, but this dude was starving, and you could just see it. You could see it in his eyes and the way that the makeup and the hair, and it seems like DiCaprio really went through hell filming this. But this actually absolutely amazing scene when he walks up to the guy, basically crawls up to him. The dude just slaps a big fat slab of liver in his hand, and I could tell it was a real liver. That was a real either beef or buffalo liver, bison liver, and he just eats it raw, just because that, I mean, as far as like a survival food, fresh liver, highly nutrient dense, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K. These fat soluble vitamins are very, very prominent in the organ meats, and organ meats have nutritional nutrients that you're not going to find in muscle meat. So definitely recommend eating organ meats because Gilbert Grape said it's good to do it. All right, Get Leverage says my biceps and shoulders are the bomb, so I can focus on those and often and do. All right, there you go. MJ hashtag PG and chill says I went off keto, having a hard time getting back on. Yeah, you just got to do it. The first 3 days suck, but just jump back on, man. Get the foods you like, make some high quality keto meals that are delicious, and get back on track. You can do it. Corman says, what is some advice I can give my girlfriend who chooses not to eat healthy and is continually eating unhealthy and eating out? You got to give her some space, man. You're not gonna change her by telling her what to do. You got to lead by example. So, yeah, man. I mean, start make her good food. Bring her to get good food, and you can slowly brainwash her by feeding her delicious, nutrient-dense food. But yeah, I mean, getting off grains and sugar is a first step. Grains and sugar, but hey, also sodas. You know, I mean, just if you can just get her to drink water, and then maybe drop sugar and wheat and grains, it could be great. But also, you got to have patience, man. You can't just be constantly telling her, like, oh, you're eating so crappy, this and that. And you can't try and beat her into submission and force your will upon her. Just because she eats unhealthy doesn't mean she is unhealthy. I know plenty of people who are highly intelligent, really well-adjusted in life, vibrant and healthy. They don't give two craps what they eat. They're concerned with other things. And maybe that's her. So we got to respect everybody. We got to understand that everyone's coming from a different place. Patrick Ryan says, listen to the Revenant audiobook instead. Longer and more detail, less Hollywood. Yeah. Patrick says, you're a true pioneer, man, doing it your own way with your beautiful family in Ecuador. Thank you. Holith says, I've been following keto for a few years, but the only way I can get any fat off is by fasting. Fortunately, keto makes fasting super easy. That's a little bit extreme of a statement, man. You say the only way I can get fat off is by fasting. I don't know about that. You probably could drop body fat if you got your meal timing right, made sure you're getting enough protein and creating significant enough of a deficit so you tap into body fat. Perhaps you're just eating more fat than you need, right? So I don't know. Is thyroid function normal on keto? Yep. Many people's thyroid improves on keto. I mean, thyroid function doesn't just depend. First of all, carbohydrates are not required for thyroid function. Second of all, thyroid function fluctuates throughout the year. There is a seasonal rhythm, a circadian rhythm to thyroid function. There's also a circadian rhythm to thyroid function during the day. Just a simple snapshot at your thyroid levels is not telling you what's going on in the entire system. You know, I mean, it's like taking a close-up macro shot of the skin on your arm and assessing the health of your entire vessel using that. It's all about context. So if thyroid is not functioning correctly, there's something environmentally triggering your highly intelligent human organism to downregulate thyroid output. That could have to do with the ambient temperature around you. It could have to do with dietary changes and restricting calories too much. Because when you restrict calories too much, the metabolism does slow. So yeah, there's many different reasons why thyroid output would change. Diet is not the leading cause of changes in thyroid hormone output. All right, it's been almost 2 hours, and I'm going to wrap this up. Let's see if we get any more questions that I missed. Okie dokie. Yeah, all right. We're wrapping this up, guys. So thanks everybody for joining us. This has been a fun hangout, longer than I thought it would be. And I'm out of words. I just don't know what to say anymore. So it's always nice hanging out with you guys. Thanks for all the positive feedback. Our audience is amazing. We get nothing but positivity here. We used to get a few trolls that would come and disrupt things a bit, but we've actually made peace with these trolls. And I've even unbanned some of them. So thanks everybody for doing it, for keeping nice and being supportive in the comments. We've talked about a lot of things. We talked about sleep cycles. We've talked about optimizing ketosis. We've talked about life. So let's get on with our lives. You guys go out there, enjoy the rest of your day or night. Make the most of what you've got. Appreciate life. Appreciate what you have. Expand your awareness into the moment. And take control of your automatic reactions and the mechanical reactions that get triggered through the environment, through people around us, through words, through media. We all have to be aware that we're not always in control of our reactions, and taking control of those automatic reactions can make life much smoother. So thanks for joining us, guys. Plenty more stuff to come, more podcasts to come, more interesting guests to come. And yeah, you can find more at primaledgehealth.com. I'll see you guys next time.